So today we're going to look at a random page from Paul Chadwick's Concrete. Going to talk about and dissect what works and why. Maybe if there's anything that doesn't. Page 17 is this one here. If you've not read it, I can recommend it. I have a big collected edition and it's really good. So of course we start with the text in the top left. We move across. So I wonder now, we're supposed to go text box to text box, and back down this way. It's interesting. I like that there's a camera person filming right here in the bottom corner. So the idea is this guy got turned into this concrete thing and he has to figure out how to make a living. And so he does like good deeds or interesting stuff normal people can't do, but they film it. It's kind of an early social media, I think. I like this mark here, this black shape, bringing us down to this sign. Got these people framed nicely here watching. There's a couple more people here. So here there's the white figures on the black background. Here there's these figures on the white background here, framed by the mountains there. So I think the overall arc of this, maybe down, back across. Also, it's interesting how the ground plane here, it's empty, but the kind of plane where he's standing, we have the details. So that's one thing that's tricky when you're starting out, is like, where do you put the details and where do you leave them out? And like a grassy field is one of the most difficult things. And so this is an interesting solution to that, right? Just put the details on the line here where the objects are, where the people are standing. Get a little bit back here to differentiate where the midground and the background change. And then quite a bit here, bringing that kind of arc, that diagonal back down here. So we're supposed to come down to this word balloon, or this caption box rather. Also, this is black and white. It's actually black, white, and gray. So there's basically three values we're working with here. So let's look at how that is organized. This big white shape basically is framed by the gray of the background and the gray of Concrete, the character. He's kind of popped off the back here by this black. It's interesting to me that this gray and this gray are the same. There's just a little line here. I wonder if that's for the flow more seamlessly in, back through. But pretty much, sky is white, the ground is white, this thing is white. The black is mostly directional. So we have this black shape with the white cutout, and then this white shape with the black cutout right below it. Just something to note there. Going out on a limb here, I found the lettering and its placement a bit awkward. So that's an interesting point. I wonder who the letterer was for this. I wonder if it was Chadwick. I don't know if he did all of this himself. Bill Spicer. I would call this probably an independent comic. It was published by Dark Horse, but I think it was independent adjacent, at least, an independent creator making their own vision. There's no like Marvel DC kind of house style. Although last week in the Teen Titans one, the lettering was a bit tight. I don't know, maybe they just didn't leave enough room, or what about it do you find awkward? You said the placement? I wonder if this one maybe could have been placed here, but that would have changed how we read the page. Maybe if they had put this one over here and this one down here? Not sure. Lettering is such a tricky thing. And the thing with lettering is that if you don't notice the lettering, that's how it's successful. If you notice it, then there's a problem. At least that's the traditional kind of way of thinking about it, I think. Lettering makes it look like there's weight on the text. So maybe it's a little bit big or chunky, these kind of blocks. Just compare it. Looks like this is maybe a little bit of a thinner stroke. Maybe a little bit smaller. That could be the problem. Shouldn't notice it looks blocky. It's chunky, wider than normal, and shorter. Maybe for me, it's too many types of speech bubbles. Like too much. You mean the fact that there's blocks and there's balloons? There's one with no border. And the thought balloons too. I think maybe it's just a little bit big. That might be it. Or maybe it's intentionally blocky because it's about a guy called Concrete. Nice movement to get us down into this panel. We've got the caption box. Maybe putting Porter's and Take on two different lines is a mistake. Maybe the Maybe it could have been arranged a little bit differently. I always think about whether or not to have this floating here or have it break the line. And whenever I'm lettering, I typically tend to think it's a good idea to have it break the line there. I think it leads you into the space more. But that's also an aesthetic decision. Like having it totally surrounded here kind of separates it a little bit more. So we read through, and I think I might come down here and come up. That's probably the intention. Although you could come here, come down. You'd have to come back this way. But this diagonal here is nice. Bring us over here. And also the tilt of the head, the tilt of the figure kind of wants you to go over to this panel. You read here, you're meant to come across, read down here, read down here, I guess come back through, come back up. Or maybe you're supposed to read here, come through, back across. Not really sure the order. You look here, you look at the picture, balloon, 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 then across down, I guess. Here, just a little bit of black. Here as kind of a border. I like that. And I have the rhythm of the black here, here, and here. The drapery aiming at the next panel is a nice touch. The first panel here, right? Yeah, that is a good, nice dramatic diagonal bringing us down. So we have these dramatic diagonals in these first three panels. I love this kind of a shot. We get this kind of reveal. So we have our, I guess our foreground, the figures. And so they're standing in the shadow. And I like that kind of black shape with the gray figures all on it. Also interesting, we can see another figure here. That's some good depth. And then I guess our midground would be this gray shape, and then the background here. We have this big, basically white area with, this becomes gray. It's not gray with the screen tone like this, but it's gray with the amount of detail. So we have the gray on white. I like the black here. Maybe that's a connection. Kind of a little border element. I think if that wasn't there, it changes it quite a bit. It's also good for scale. With a black and white comic, you really need to lean into the blacks. I agree. You like the semi-floating panel. This one here, oh yeah, I hadn't even noticed, right? Yeah, we have a panel border here, and we have a panel border here. But this is open, and we kind of get that closure, right? Because we have the line for the balloon in the caption box, so the eye automatically fills it in. But it's open and airy, and I wonder if that's because as they're going through this, they're going to come up on this scene. So maybe that's a little bit of foreshadowing, panel to panel, with this big open space coming here. So we come through, we read the text, read the text, read the text, and then we can just enjoy this big scene. And we have this gray shape here. It looks like there's a yak, and we're invited then to turn the page. That's Paul Chadwick's Concrete, number 8. This was from June of 1988.